Welcome back for another video, and in this video I am going to give my personal top 5 worst managers for introverts to report to. Now, some of these managers, nobody wants to report to them, whether you're extrovert, introvert, ambivert, anything, all of that. Okay, but introverts specifically struggle in the workplace when one of these managers is who they have to deal with day in and day out. Let's get into it. The spotlight seekers. These are the managers who should never have become managers because they want to be the star of the show. As a former manager myself, the star of the show should be the people on your team. You're leading a team of stars. They should be in the spotlight. But these folks, they need that. They want that. They became a manager for the money or the title, not because they actually like people, not because they actually want to be leaders. So these are the folks who want to be at the head of every meeting, the head of every presentation. You would think that everything that they do that gets put out by their team was put out by them and them alone. This is a problem for introverts because introverts tend to like for their work to speak for itself, even though that's not a good idea in the corporate world. They want their work to speak for itself, and then they expect their manager to advocate for them. And these managers will never advocate for you. They're going to act like they came up with those ideas. They're not even going to accept your ideas unless they can somehow spin it and frame it as if it were their idea in the first place. Your idea is no good until they can say, actually, this came from me. Oh yes, I do like that I just came up with that. That's the vibe that they give. No one can have a moment but them. And they will praise people privately, but publicly, again, they'll act like they did all of this on their own. So introverts are going to have to work really, really hard under this manager to advocate for themselves and make sure that they are heard and seen beyond this manager, so people in the company will know that they exist. I want to talk about another side to this vibe of a manager. So that manager likes to be in the spotlight. Another annoying type of manager for introverts to report to is a manager who wants you to be in the spotlight, even if that's not what you want. They push people to be in the forefront. They push people to speak all the time, to play extroverted, because they believe that extroversion is necessary to grow, to be valued, to be a leader. So they push this on people who don't want to play that game. They're the ones who are going to be like, I want you to speak up more in the meetings. I want you to say this. I want you to, have your camera on for every meeting. They view extroverted energy as being more engaged now. And I talk about this in my introvert guide. Yes, there are times where you do need to share because you have something valuable to say, but these managers just want people to speak for the sake of speaking, to be seen, because with the whole camera on in meetings, because they associate extroverted energy with leadership, with being engaged, and that has nothing to do with level of engagement. Introverts don't really want to participate in your spur of the moment brainstorming sessions. They want to know the agenda for meetings in advance. They don't want to have to perform. They want time to think about things, to process, like, let me know what's coming up, then I'll come with the ideas. But on the spot, having a certain level of energy is not going to really come natural to a lot of introverts in this way. Introverts will feel like they have to be fake in these environments, that they just have pressure to be someone that they're not, and that's a huge turnoff and can really impact your career, because if your manager prefers extroversion and you are not that, they'll never advocate for you, they'll never speak up for you, or they'll look at you like you're being defiant because you don't want to show up in the way that they want you to show up. The micromanagers. Now, nobody likes working under the micromanagers, but I have to include them because micromanagers are especially problematic for introverts, because introverts like to be left alone to do what they're supposed to be doing. You let us know what we need to do, we'll get to it. Hovering over us, nitpicking over everything that we do, very, very, very problematic. Makes us feel very uncomfortable. Can make people question their value, question, am I competent? Does this person not trust me? Why are you always here? Why do you keep checking in? A lot of times this will chip away at the confidence of introverts and just make us feel like we have no place here on your team. We do like to work independently. Let's talk about the social engineers. They're always trying to create a vibe. Introverts like myself get very annoyed by these types of managers. These are the ones who want to have the happy hours after work And that's okay, but for people who don't want to engage in that type of activity, that their job is a job, they don't want to hang out with you after work, these managers are like, if you don't do this stuff, I don't know you like that. I can't, recommend you for anything. I'm not going to put you on projects, because people don't want to have that level of the same level of social engagement as they would prefer on their team. They reward people who socialize. They reward people who are bubbly, who are loud, even if it doesn't come with any value or talent. And this is where it gets really annoying. Even for people, extroverts who are genuinely talented, but they will engage in these activities, and so there's a certain level of visibility, or the manager will look at them in a positive way just because they're at everything, because they go to everything, versus the person who finishes work and then they go home. Introverts are less likely to socialize for validation. They don't need that. They don't want it. And depending on the kind of job they have, like, this could really drain their energy, because they're like, I got to do my work 9 to 5, and then I got to go hang out and pretend to laugh at these jokes and be with these people after work. No, it's too much. It feels to them like an introvert, this can feel like having 2 jobs, and you only paying me for 1. Let's talk about the chaos creators. These are the managers who just are a mess. They're a disaster. They're unorganized. They don't have it together. Everything is just last minute. They expect everybody else to respond to that. And there's a lot of introverted people who like order. They don't want to have to deal with your mess or you changing things up at the last minute. Again, you don't have to be an introvert to really be impacted by this, but it can impact them even more. Give us clarity. Give us prep time. Don't come to me at the last minute with another thing, another change. Not because it's simply because you're a mess, because you can't get it together, because you just go with the flow. Like, I need you to get it together. Let me think deeply. Let me deliver my work. Let me be thoughtful about it and make sure that it's quality, not in response to all of your chaos. And what's really annoying about these managers is there's a lot of times when their stuff falls apart, and it often does, they will blame everybody but themselves. I'm sure I missed quite a few. There's some other annoying managers, but these were the most annoying for me in my career, and I want to hear from you in the comments. Who are some of the most annoying managers that you have worked for as an introvert? And look, I want to say introverts don't have to work for other introverts to be successful. Extroverts can be great managers, great leaders for introverts, but you just have to have an understanding of how other people show up. Everybody has different levels of energy, what it means to be engaged. A lot of these things would be important, and introverts would really benefit from a manager who understands that everyone is not going to be like them and shouldn't have to be to get to the top. So let me know what you think in the comments, and check out my introvert transformation guide. It's for folks who don't want to have to fake it, but you still work in these spaces and you have to get ahead. You want to get ahead. So you want to do it in a more authentic way. That workbook is going to help you quite a bit. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed what you heard here today, and I'll see you in the next video.